So much, whether you were listening to the conversation we were having then. Now, Ken, I spoke to you, I think it was last week. And I just dug out my notes when I spoke to you because you made me sleep more easily in bed at night. I've woken up a few times in the last week and thought about you, Ken, at 3 o'clock in the morning, because you have been a voice on this show that was so positive about the ambition and so optimistic that it could be achieved. Are you still feeling the same way, Ken?
I am. And the first thing is just don't be a panican. Don't panic. Don't look at the oil prices. Don't worry about prices at the grocery store for now. Once this war is over, oil is going to plummet like a rock. We will be back in the United States at prices well under $70 a barrel, probably closer to 60. Brent will be at 70. So don't be a panic. And that's the first thing. Second thing, I don't know what planet Matt is living on, but President Trump is playing 4 or 5-dimensional chess. And he's doing it at every moment. And by the way, in his communications, those who don't like his communication strategies, they don't know anything about war. They haven't studied history. They forget that during World War II, when Churchill was in charge, thank God, of affairs in Britain, that General Patton was across from Calais amassing a paper mache army with tanks made of cardboard to create an illusion for the German high staff, general staff, that we were going to invade there and not in Normandy, which is what we ultimately did. War is about deceiving the enemy. And President Trump is doing a great job of that. And by the way, unfortunately, I've got to say here in the United States, the enemy is also in the media. And I don't mean to say that in a personal way. I don't mean to accuse anybody of being traitorous or anything, but the enemy is not supporting the war effort, right? And so President Trump is deceiving the gullible U.S. media. And by the way, I'm glad, Bev, you were in the cabinet room today because you could see firsthand what was going on. But much of the American media no longer gets into that cabinet room because they just lie about what they actually see and what they hear. This president is doing a masterful job. This is the first time since World War II that we in the United States have had leadership in war that was politically competent and strategically masterful.
We heard a bit, thank you, Ken. We heard a bit today from Steve Witkoff about this 15-point negotiation document, more than we've heard before. Caroline Levitt said in the briefing room yesterday that she's getting frustrated by so many articles in the press that say an insider says. She said they're not accurate. Please come to the White House for the truth. What did you make of that policy document today from Steve Witkoff about what the requests are of Iran? Is it realistic?
It's not. And I thought what was kind of interesting is that Witkoff seems increasingly like an honest broker. Many of us had thought he was weak. He did not understand the Iranians. He did not understand the history there. But he's showing that he knows how to negotiate. And he revealed, he said this before, but he revealed again, he said again that what the Iranians had told him in the initial session that they had, which is that they're not going to give up through negotiations what we could not take from them through war. And they're talking about the 460 kilograms of highly enriched uranium, enough to make 11 nuclear bombs. And he said that, he said, well, they're just lying to us. They're putting us, they're putting us off. They're trying to buy time. The Iranians would like to push this to September, as one of Matt was saying earlier. That's what they would like to do, because that would have a real impact on the U.S. midterm elections. President Trump is determined that that's not going to happen. This war will be wrapped up in a number of weeks. He said 4 to 6. We're in the beginning of the 4th week now, or midway through the 4th week now. It could be a couple more weeks.
And that would look like what, though, Ken? Would that look like Iran agreeing to all of those terms and finding their own supreme leader? Because I can't help but think every supreme leader that tries to take that job will be dispatched unless they aren't going to be chanting death to the West.
Yeah, well, and they could be, you're right, they could be dispatched by their own. Very true. But look, war is all about a matter of will. It's about breaking the enemy's will, bending their will to your own. And we have not done that yet. It's clear. We have not yet bent the will of those who remain in the regime in Iran. We don't know all of them, who they are, but we haven't yet bent their will to ours. The 15 points that the president has put forth are all about that. This is what you must agree to. Now, maybe we'll get to 7 of them. Maybe we'll get to 8. But you must agree to the basic points: no nuclear weapons, no enrichment, no ballistic missiles. You will not threaten your neighbors. You open the Strait of Hormuz. Those are really the basics. And we'll see. I think it's going to take a few more weeks of softening up.
Yeah, and we had a glimpse today. Well, he clarified what that great present was that he alluded to a couple of days ago when he said he'd had a great gift from Iran. He was quite cryptic, well, very cryptic that day, and he looked at Steve Witkoff today and he said, "Can I tell them what the present was?" And he said that they had allowed a number of oil tankers to go through the straits. Ken, what does that tell you about the negotiation?
Well, as he said himself, it shows that Witkoff was talking to serious people. They had told Witkoff, "We will allow 8 tankers to go through the strait full of oil." And by the way, I was watching this on, the TV here. The Fox News has an animated graphic of marine traffic, so you can actually watch the tankers going through the strait. And what I found very interesting is that these 8 tankers all went behind Lavan Island. So they went right next to the Iranian coast, within spitting distance of the Iranian coast, not through the international shipping channel. I am guessing that the shipping channel is mined, and that's why they didn't go there. So the Iranians had them pass behind Lavan Island, again, within spitting distance of the coast. And okay, this was the reason the president wanted this was to calm the oil markets, clearly, to calm the oil markets. He wants to open the Strait of Hormuz. So whoever he was talking to, whoever Witkoff was talking to, said, "We're going to give you these 8 tankers." And Trump said today, actually, it was 10. It was not just 8, it was 10. So we got 10 tankers of oil out onto the international markets. And I think the president is being masterful. This is 4-dimensional chess. He's also playing the oil markets. He wants to make sure the price of oil does not explode.
Yeah. Ken, I think I will sleep well again tonight, having spoken to you. You're like therapy. You're like positivity therapy. I'm very reassured, Ken Timmerman. But also, just so you know, you don't have to watch Fox News. You can watch GB News in America. You can either watch us live on Truth Social, or you can get the app, or YouTube. You've got choices, Ken. Right, we'll have you back very soon.
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us on The Late Show Live.
Thank you.
Let me know your thoughts.